Oh man.
Damn crackhead.
I know, right? I hope DJ feels better though, man. I've been messing with him saying he has a coronavirus. I shouldn't do that.
Shit, he probably does.
That shit's so wrong, man. I shouldn't do that. Like I feel like shit if he actually has it or something. Like, oh shit. I mean,
I
over here like,
doubt it.
nah, I don't think he does. I mean, he said he feels fine. He just needs some rest before he goes to work or whatever. So he goes back to work tomorrow. So he said he just wasn't up for it today. So this is First and Framerates, episode 125. Man, you just don't know, just chugging right along with these episodes. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, we do these episodes. Me and DJ basically came up with the idea that every episode is a Q&A now because people have questions anyway. So we don't even put it in the title. We don't even ask. And like, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We will just honor them as is.
Well, shit, when we ask for questions, motherfuckers don't have no questions.
But see, that's the thing. And then when we don't say nothing, everybody do have questions. That's the funny thing about it. It's just really weird. So this episode, we're going to talk about Nintendo Switch. I don't have a console. I don't have the Nintendo Switch. I know Bills don't have it. I know DJ don't have it, but it turns 3 years old. It turned 3 years old this week. Also, we're going to talk about the sales, how fast it gained popularity within those 3 years. Also, the PlayStation 2. I know that console is near and dear to everybody's heart that's been playing games since 2000 at least. That turned 20. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then on the back end, if you see on the title screen, Italy empty stadiums, what we're referring to is basically you have the coronavirus is spreading like crazy when it comes to Italy, China, Iran, other parts of the country, other countries in the world. Now, this country now, it's quote unquote spreading a little bit. Most people who are coming back from outside the countries, they're the ones that have it, and they're giving it to other people. So it is kind of crazy. But we're going to talk about what Italy is doing and possibly what the NBA is doing and NCAA is doing when it comes to stadiums and actually having games. I don't think the NBA is not that much, but I know definitely the NCAA are already talking about March Madness. Some of these games may be taking place without fans in the seats. I don't know how that's going to be possible. I don't even know where to start with that, but Bills is here. He's going to help me decipher that part for the most part. And Bills, how you been?
Shit, I've been fucking having a stuffy nose and shit for the past few days. I might have my fucking coronavirus.
All right, no coughing on the mic because I don't want to catch it.
I know, right? But
I know you're like one part. You're way up there in the Boston area. I'm down in South Carolina, so it's like I still don't trust it though.
No, I've been busy as hell. I know that your resistance is a lot lower when you don't get a lot of rest, so that might be why. But I mean, just stuffy nose, nothing too major. But yeah, I've been busy as hell.
I mean, my thing, I had a couple of sneezes to be honest, but I know it was because my nose is actually, being compromised by like itching. But I haven't had. I thank God I haven't been sick or anything. Pretty much since like late last year. And that was just a basic cold that I got from my son because my son got a cold from the kids at daycare, and you know how daycares go. Mm-hmm. Kids get sick, and some parents want to bring their kids to the daycare even though they're sick, and all the kids get it. So I got it from there. But other than that, I've been good. But for the most part, I cannot stress this enough. Wash your goddamn hands.
Fuck that. When you cough, cover your goddamn mouth. When you sneeze, cover your fucking mouth.
Right. It's like the main thing for everybody who goes through this, the easiest way to combat this is basically just don't be nasty, don't be gross, don't pick your nose and shake people's hand. Wash your hands after you take a piss or use the bathroom. I mean, like, it's simple stuff. I mean, before we get to the topics of Nintendo Switch or whatever, it's a reason why these other countries, and I'm not saying nothing bad about them, but it's the truth. it's the reason why these other countries are having like this outbreak at such a fast rate. They do not. I mean, I said this last episode or a couple episodes ago. They do not practice proper basic hygiene. And I mean, it's just their culture. Now, and I'm not saying that it's, I'm not saying that to down them, but there are some cultures overseas that don't wear deodorant. They don't believe in washing their hands every 2-3 hours. They don't, some of them don't even think about washing hands when they eat a meal. I mean, that's just the way they live. I'm like, you have people here that don't do that. I mean, how many times you go into the restroom and you use the restroom and somebody else uses it and they literally walk up to the sink and throw their hands up under the water for 3 seconds and walk back out. Don't even dry their hands. And I mean, don't even use soap. They just throw their hands under the water for 2 seconds. It's stuff like that gets people sick. So really, really be careful about just your personal hygiene because it saves lives at this point, So it's like, yeah. Outside of that, man, what's been going on with you? You've been gone for the last few episodes. So what's been up with you?
Yeah, man, I've just been running around doing a whole bunch of shit for this podcast I'm prepping for, and then I have my birthday on Tuesday.
Happy belated birthday!
I'm sorry. Oh, thanks, man. It was pretty low key, honestly. I just chilled with my 2 best friends, and that was it. I came home and fucking did a little bit of work, and then Tuesday I tried to catch up.
So you mean tell me you didn't pull out the 360 and play some all-pro football?
Shit. I wouldn't do that. Definitely not my birthday. I wouldn't do that on a normal day.
No, I'm just messing with you. Hey, listen, I said this on Twitter earlier. Well, first of all, before I get into that, catch us on Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. We're all over the place now. Catch us on Discord as well. All the links is in the YouTube description. All you have to do is go to Discord, type in First and Framerates. You can find us there. You all know the Twitter handles as well. All that's down in the YouTube description. I'm VF Baller, DJ is DJ81, and Bills is JMBMJ. You can find us there. And other than that, let's get right into it. I said this. Let me see. I can't remember what I said on Twitter. Well, I'll get to that later. I guess I'll get to that. Nintendo Switch turns 3 years old, and this is actually amazing to what they were able to do within this small bit of time. In 3 years, they've shipped out 52 million, units. 47.3 million units has been shipped, and 5.9 of the Switch Lite units are out there. They went way past the Wii U sales. The Wii U only went 13 million, but in 3 years, you've got this much of a foothold in the. You got this big of a foothold in the gaming market. You got to understand the Xbox One is around 55, maybe 57 units shipped. So I mean, it's like they're about to lap the Xbox One, and the Xbox One came out 7 years ago, and it had 3 different iterations. Well, 4 different iterations if you account the all digital console.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about the Switch itself. A lot of people say it has amazing games. They say it's great. They say it has some really good stuff on it. I don't have it. I wanted to get it to play Bayonetta 3. That game hasn't come out yet, so I haven't bought it. And once that comes out, I'll probably buy it, play it, and send it off somewhere. I have no interest in a portable console. And a lot of people saying that, well, that's the best thing about it. No, when I'm outside the house, I'm not trying to play any games. That's just me. What are your thoughts about? Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts about the Nintendo Switch in general and how people perceive it these days?
I think they view video games different than us. Like, I completely agree with you. I don't look to play video games when I'm out. Like, if I'm playing video games, it's gonna be at home.
Right.
They like the portability of the console, I guess. Other than that, I guess they just like kids games because that's really pretty much that's what I connect that console with. I don't think that, even based on what I saw, I don't think that the third-party games are that good.
Well, I mean,
on that console.
They have tried their best to get third party support. They got Doom, they got Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
They have, they have some,
but it's not their.
I mean, it's just the thing. It's not even that, Bills. It's just that when you think of like a Nintendo product, ever since the Wii came out, you just think of it as something for kids. I mean,
yeah, I think I attribute it, or not attribute it, but I connected with kids games, and
right.
yeah, it's just. I mean, I honestly, I've never owned a Nintendo. I've never liked the games.
Okay. Now, mind you, that Bills is a little bit younger than me, so he doesn't have that quote unquote nostalgia for Nintendo. Now, me, I've been playing Nintendo since the first one came out. So
the first console I owned was a PS1.
Right. So that just tells you. And around that time, you had the N64 out, which was, another console that I loved. I mean, I talked about that on the dual cast that me and Izzy Snow had. I mean, I just have not only just nostalgia. I honestly, I grew up with it. I honestly think it has good games, but for someone like Bills, it's going to be a little skewed, and it's not his fault. I mean, it's just for anybody else. Like nowadays, you have some younger kids now. They grew up with the PlayStation 3. Yeah. I mean, are you going to knock them for not knowing what the Super Nintendo is? I mean,
because like I've played pretty much every console outside of the Sega Saturn. I just like. When I was little, I was big into sports games. I wasn't into the games that Nintendo was putting out. So,
right.
And then I think the second console I ever played was the fucking Dreamcast, and that Dreamcast was amazing. So like I started obviously later than a lot of people, but I just don't have the same allure for the Nintendo that other people have. I just don't.
So what do you think about these sales? Do you think that the sales come from it actually being a decent handheld console, or you think it's just a lot of people who just love Nintendo in general and they're supporting it because it's Nintendo?
I think it's loyal Nintendo fans that they have a console that they can actually sink their teeth into, as opposed to the Wii, which was so drastically different than other consoles.
I will say this: the Nintendo Wii U was like the prototype to the Switch because it has the same type of handheld and everything.
Right.
The Wii U did so poorly by Nintendo standards. With personally, I love the Wii U. I think it's a fantastic console. Mm-hmm. I think it has some really good games on it, even though it was very lacking in third-party games. The quality of games are very well done. But the thing about it is the fact that the Switch came out, and I think a lot of people defend it because it's quirky, it's different, and it's Nintendo. So you have a lot of people who do buy it. They're generally Nintendo fans, and I know people who literally say they're going to buy any game on the Switch just to support it. Not because they want to play it, they're just supporting it. So you have some of these people with extravagant. I'm dead serious about this, Bills. Extravagant in Nintendo Switch library, and some of the games haven't even been opened.
I can believe it.
I find it like, I just find it unbelievable that people buy the game. And I understand some people buy games and they just put it on the shelf. I get it. Like there are some games that you just may not want to play because you have nostalgic for, or you just feel like it's going to be a collector's item. But when you have 10, 15, 20, almost 25 games that are just on the shelf sealed, and you're just have them there because you're supporting the console, I find it kind of disingenuous with some of these sales. Now, I'm not saying that 52 million people aren't playing their Switch. It's just that the fact that we kind of know the motive behind, defending the Switch, or per se, just I'm going to play with this, or I'm going to buy the Switch because I feel that it's a real console that you could just take on the go, compared to, hey, that's not a console that you can take on the go. It's a handheld acting as a console.
Well, let's be honest. You can kind of compare what you're talking about with those sales to people going platinum these days musically.
Okay.
A lot of the streams, like, the way they add them up, is just different these days, and people's reasons for even listening to music is just a bit different these days. More so curiosity rather than knowing for sure that they're gonna like the album.
Well, not only that, I mean, they see their favorite person on Twitter, or they see him on TikTok or Switch, or they see him on Instagram, and because they do something real, that's quote unquote popular on those platforms, they'll just buy the music.
But it's more so intrigue though, because it's not even going out and buying it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Back when dudes were going and buying Tupac, Big's album, Fat Joe, all those guys back in the day, it was much different than me going on Google Play Music and saying, "Oh, let me listen to this real quick." Well, it's just different.
I mean, not only that. I mean, it was more interactive back then when it came to the music business. Like you interacted more with the personality of a person instead of, oh, is this person going to do something that's neat and something that I may like? Are they going to wear something that I like? It was just a little bit different back then because the interviews, the word of mouth got off on interviews and what they said in magazines and what they did on tour or whatever case, compared to now. If you put out a little quick verse on SoundCloud, some kids are just blowing up off of that and they're just intrigued by it. So it's a little different. I don't have much else to say about it. Happy birthday to the Nintendo Switch. And like I said, it's 3 years old, and for them to get 50 million sales in 3 years, that's actually amazing. Because I mean, it was like, you got to understand, the PS2 is the longest selling console, the biggest selling console with 155 million. This console here did 50. It did 52 in 3. The PS2 has been around from 2000 to 2014. So it's on. I doubt it if it's going to catch the PS2. I don't think any. I mean, even the PS4 is having problems catching up with the PS2. Yeah. But it's just amazing how fast this thing sold. But like we said earlier, I think it's due to a lot of people who are in defense of the Nintendo brand.
Oh, of course.
A lot of people buy it because they just love Nintendo, and some people just play games on Nintendo just because it's there. I mean, just look at the Wii U. Some people defended the Wii U and they played the games on there just because it was on there. Now, come to find out, the quality of the games are very good, but that wasn't the issue back then. They were just playing it just so it to be relevant against the PS3 and the 360 or whatever the case may be. Now, speaking of the PS2, let's jump to that. That turned 20 years old, and it's hard to believe to think that console is 20 years old, because that console is it is so prominent even to this day. Even the PS3, the PS4, Xbox One, 360, the PS2 still has this. It still has this attachment to people where you can put in games and still have fun with the PS2. And this is not just the retro gamer in me talking. This is not just the nostalgia of me talking. There's a reason why a lot of PS2 games have been remastered for the PS3 and for the PS4 for that matter. It's just the console did so well. But before we get into the games, I'm gonna give you a reason why, and I don't know if you agree with me. The reason why the PS2 sold that much, because it was a time where the DVD era came in and people wanted a cheap DVD player. What are your thoughts?
I'm sure that was part of it, but more so of the two companies, between Xbox and or I should say between Microsoft and Sony, I feel like PS2 was a much more pick up and play console than Xbox was.
Oh, absolutely. I know, because I know the original Xbox is it's not very user friendly, but we'll get into that another day.
Yeah. So the PS2 was a lot more pick up and play. The user interface was a lot more simple to, navigate. I mean, shit. Like, I have some of my fondest memories gaming on the PS2, and the rest of them are on the Xbox 360.
Right.
Those are the two consoles I hold near and dear. Xbox One, PS4, it's not nearly to the level of the PS2, especially when you talk about Madden.
I mean, and that in general, that this console generation is a whole nother subject for another day. Absolutely.
Yeah, Madden and NBA Live on the PS2 were just that was where it's at.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people talk shit about NBA Live on the PS2 original Xbox era.
I don't know why.
Highly misunderstood series at the time.
Yeah.
Very highly misunderstood. You go back and play NBA Live 03, 04, 05. Highly misunderstood. Very good games, and it was a little more sophisticated than you thought as well.
They laid the groundwork for how the button configurations are these days as far as the dribbling on the right stick. That shit was ahead of its time.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. They don't
freestyle passing and all that stuff with the right stick. That was all back then.
Badges. You want to talk about badges?
Badges shit. NBA Live 06.
Yep, go to 06 and Live 07. Yeah. And even in some cases, Live 08. I can't even play my Live 08 on PC no more. I mean, I still have the game, but the other computer is downstairs, and that one has the disk drive in it.
So I had to go down. It was really interesting. Not the PS2 version, but the Xbox 360 version was
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of things started to get a little more innovative around that time, but a lot of people. The problem with the Live back then, I mean, we talked about Live last episode, so we're not going to jump on it too long. But the problem with Live, you had to go into the settings and slow the game down.
Yes.
Because Live back on the PS2 days was a very fast.
Fucking warp speed, bro.
Right. Once you slowed it down, it played very well. Like, you can go right now, Operation Sports. They got like some sliders for Live 04.
Mm-hmm.
And those sliders make the game play very well as far as like real basketball, like NBA ball, no joke.
And I think Live 04 is one of the best basketball games, top to bottom, ever.
I Live 04 kind of, I agree, but Live 04 kind of get lost in the shuffle because 03 was the first one with the dribbling moves, and 05 was the one with the All-Star game.
Yeah,
but people don't realize that Live 04 was like the complete package between the two.
Yeah, 04 was like sandwiched in the middle, but God,
right.
Like great soundtrack. The TNT broadcast was really nice. The shot blocking animations for back then were crazy.
I think that the main thing about it, Live was already limited because of the animation, so the animations wasn't a big deal when it came to PS2.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with it was just basically that the game just itself was coded too fast.
Yeah.
They should have just slowed the game down, and it would have been okay. Because don't get me wrong, 2K basketball really wasn't. 2K basketball lost its way once it left the Dreamcast, and 2K basketball really didn't get themselves back on their feet till 2K7.
Yeah, the first 2K I owned was NBA 2K3, which I had fun. Because I didn't have NBA Live 03. Like, this is back when,
And it wasn't the game. I mean, you got to understand, NBA 2K2 was the game.
Yeah.
03, 04, and we're really not going to talk about 05. 05 was
that
terrible.
Shit was ass.
Right.
Somebody bought me that. My boy's mom bought me that because her and my mother were really close. They worked together. And I put in NBA 2K5. I think that was the one with Ben Wallace on the cover.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my God, that game.
No, I know. I'm dead serious. It's like, it's not a good game. Like, don't get me wrong. And I don't want to sound crazy. Every game from the 2K5 series was great. College Hoops 2K5, MLB 2K5.
Was amazing.
NHL 2K5 was great. And we're not, why would we even talk about the football game? We already know how we feel about NFL 2K5.
Of course, yeah.
NBA 2K5 was the game that was like, what the fuck? What were y'all doing?
God, bro.
And the thing, it showed because College Hoops 2K5 came out later, and you could tell they polished a lot of stuff that should have been in NBA 2K5.
Yeah.
I mean, College Hoops 2K5 and College Hoops 2K4. 2K4 is a very underrated game. Maybe one day I'll do a retrospective on that. But nevertheless, the PS2 went on to sell 150 million copies. You got games like God of War 2, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I still think the Dreamcast version is better. You had Tekken 5, which was arcade perfect. I don't care what nobody say. It played just like the. Let me tell you, you might not even know this, Bills. Tekken 5 was so close to the arcade. The PS2 version was so close to the arcade version. You could take your memory card, the PS2 memory card, take it to the arcade, stick your memory card in the arcade version at the local arcade, and get all of your saves and put it on the arcade machine.
Oh, wow.
That's how close it was arcade perfect. Capcom versus SNK 2 was another arcade perfect game. And that's just the fighting games. I mean, I can go on a tangent because I'm big on fighting games. Gran Turismo 4, very good game. One of the first games that came out at 1080i, which, that was unreal back in 2004. God of War. I'm not even going to talk about the God of War 1 and 2. All the RPGs, Final Fantasy 10, Dragon Quest 8. I mean, PlayStation 2 got so many. Okami. I can go on. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty,
Vice City.
I ain't even started with the Grand Theft Auto series. Thank you. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas.
All the 007 games, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I mean. And
then Driver.
Yeah, I was about to say Driver's another one. I can even look over here and just look at, the games I got over here.
Crash Bandicoot, obviously.
Right. Crash Bandicoot, the PS2 versions of those were good. Yakuza, the original Yakuza 1 and 2. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, you can go on and on about the PS2, how well crafted some of these games. Even with the
that was the best generation of wrestling games, too, in my opinion.
Really?
Overall, I would say top to bottom.
You did say you started out the PS1, so.
Well, but also I would say overall, I'd say top to bottom they were. No Mercy obviously is on the Nintendo, but top to bottom, like year in year out, the totality of the games they put out, I think was better on the PS2.
Yeah, because I'm
any other generation.
Because I'm a big fan of the N64 wrestling games.
I mean, you had the arcade ones too that were dope.
Oh, I mean those are just on another level. I mean, when you talk about In Your House, you talk about the WrestleMania, the arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not those right there. They're just on another level when it comes to any of these. I mean, I'm not saying they're the GOAT, but if I wanted to play a wrestling game, I'm going for those.
Fun factor. I mean, I got played to this day.
Yeah, I'm going for those first. If I want to play any wrestling game, I'm going for those first. I mean, those are just amazing arcade style games. Look in the chat. I mean, Pooh put Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, exactly. Ratchet and Clank. I mean, it just goes on and on with the PlayStation. I mean, the PlayStation 2, which honestly I believe that if any other console that should have been backwards compatible for here on out, it should have been at least a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
PS3 started out with it. The PS4 should have kept it. I understand not having backwards compatible with the PS3, but the games on the PlayStation 1 and definitely the PS2 are just so well crafted and far ahead of its time. They're timeless games that will probably never fall off. Mm-hmm. So those games, I mean, the controls may be kind of weird, but anybody can go back and play Vice City and have a good time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, anybody can go back and play God of War 2. I mean, how could you not go back and play God of War 2? Like, oh, that's outdated. I mean, even with the graphics may look ugly, when you have that controller in your hand and you're playing the game is going to be fun regardless. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't even want to know, like, it could be a topic that you go on and on and on. I mean,
do we agree Madden 04 was the best Madden from that generation?
Yeah, and I was just about to go there. Yes, I agree. I was at this point where I felt that all the even numbers of Maddens on the PS2 era was great. And it even goes back to Madden 02, 2, 4, Madden 06, Madden 08. You know how I felt about
I agree that all those were good, but I think Madden 03 was good too.
No, I'm not saying none of them were bad, but I was just saying, like, back then, I just had that notion that all the even numbers were the great ones. But when you go back and look at them, damn near everything. What bad PS2 Madden is out there? Let's be honest. Like, you can't.
There isn't one really.
Right, you can't really go wrong with none of them. But like you said, Madden 04 is probably the best one out of all of them because of, I think, what Madden 04 did. Madden 04 tried their best, and I think they kind of fell off after. Maybe 06, maybe 07. Mm-hmm. They tried their best to put player likeness in the game. Michael Vick looked like Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? Kurt Warner. I mean, I'm talking about even down to the face. Kurt Warner looked like Kurt Warner. Randy Moss looked like Randy Moss when you close up on the helmet. Now, mind you, NFL 2K3 started this because 2K3 was just like amazing on the PS2 as well. Mm-hmm. You go original Xbox. I'm not even gonna go there. That's another story. When you do a close up like on Edgar and James on 2K3, you can actually see he looks just like how he looks. He even has the gold teeth in his mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just amazing. Like that. I mean, let's look at this now. Look at Madden now. You think you got that type of level of detail in Madden now? Yeah, they got player likeness that look like him, but that level of detail, gold teeth, real.
And the thing about it was they got the level of detail with specific players, but that didn't ever hinder the development of the gameplay overall.
Right. Running styles are different. Like if you pick up a fumble with the offensive or defensive lineman, they ran like they were in panic. Like they were running with their arms flailing a little bit, but a lot of people aren't even going to remember this. The fact that before the truck stick, you had to go based on ratings of whether you was going to run a guy over or not. He might get blasted. You just had to hold turbo and run into somebody. Right.
Or stiff arm him or juke him. But there was no truck stick.
No. There was no truck stick and there was no hit stick back then. So you really had to get the best tackler to get somebody. What's going on, Doug Thomas? How you doing? Mouthpieces, exactly. What Boo said, mouthpieces. It's just there's a reason why I still play original Xbox Madden. I mean, it's basically the same as PS2 Madden. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason why I play those games still, because the quality of those games are still good and attention to detail is still there. I'm not knocking Madden 20 or Madden 15 or Madden. I'm sorry, Madden 15. I'm not going there. Madden 25 or Madden 7. I'm not knocking those games. It's just that when you play these games and have the immersion, it's just not. Pooh put up another one. Mouthpieces, visors. Did you know you can change the color of visors on PS2 Madden? Like you can have an orange mask or a red mask, or
they had nasal strips back then too. They had a lot of stuff.
Nasal strips you can put on the face mask if
they didn't have to patch in the washboards or anything like that.
Right. Like they had the little washboard thing for the back for the linebackers.
They had all that shit.
I mean, they had all. I mean, it's
you can change the color of cleats for guys.
Right. There was you could put the tape around the cleats.
Put the tape around the cleats.
And you can change the color of the tapes around the cleats.
Team color. They had team color. There's so much shit that they had.
I mean, there's a reason why the PlayStation 2, that generation in general was just so special, because the developers had to get you on detail. They couldn't get you on, funny bullshit ass modes. They couldn't get you on monetization and loot boxes. They actually had to give you a real full-fledged size part of the game that made you want to continue to play till the next year.
And they were making the game for one audience, which I feel is the most important audience, is the hardcore football audience, because that's what their game was tailored after.
Right, exactly. You're exactly right, and it's just a shame that you don't see that anymore. I mean, you pop in NCAA 14, and I like that game. You try to put dreads on a guy that's on NCAA 14. They got Predator dreads, like seriously. But like on the PS2 Maddens, they have the dreads that barely come out of the back of the helmet. Like it's like the helmet is pushing the dreads down. Mm-hmm. It looks so cool.
And let's not even talk about
they got the mullets. Like you got the guy could wear a mullet. They have afros. They have cornrows.
Let's talk about like other shit. Like obviously they're gonna make the excuses about the NFL limitations and shit. But you had helmets coming off, right?
Right. Helmets. Yo, I put a clip out on Twitter. I'm gonna see if I can send it to you. Mm-hmm. I put a clip out on Twitter of a guy getting murdered. I mean, he literally got killed. Let me see if I can pull this up. I think I'll be able to find it. Here it is right here. I'm gonna try to share this so you guys can see this.
Share the screen.
I'm gonna share. This is what happened. Come on. Oh, I don't want to be that big. Okay, let's see. Okay, I got it right there. All right, let me share the screen real quick, and y'all can see this. Look at this. Look at this play right here. Share screen. Share the screen. All right, look at this play right here.
Ooh.
Watch this hit. Like dead serious. Look at this hit. Like helmet goes one. Yeah, one helmet. The helmet goes one way, ball goes the other way. I mean, it was just a massacre. Sorry for the quality. The quality.
And even though the safety turned his back to the play there, we saw that a lot on PS2 Maddens.
Right.
The thing was,
no, you don't realize he's turning his back because he thinks the player's going to continue to go downfield.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it wasn't route mirroring. It was.
It was his awareness.
Yeah, situational awareness.
Right, it's his awareness because I noticed that too because we talked about this with APF and I'm a master at watching these games. I mean, I've been playing these games for years, so I know like if somebody has like good awareness, they're not going to turn their back like that. But if they have bad awareness, this is what happened. That's how he got beat on that route. Luckily, that safety saved him and knocked the hell out of him. The other guy came across and knocked it. I think it was a linebacker. But you don't have those.
They had pass lead sensitivity as a setting in Madden 04, which I thought was amazing.
Madden 04 passing was just amazing.
Bro, I put Madden 04, and we've had this discussion, and we pretty much agree on it for the most part, but I put Madden 04's passing up there with any football game ever. APF was amazing, but God, Madden 04, man, the passing in that game... And they had the signature animations. The pump fake mechanic.
I agree. I mean, it's just something that we don't have anymore. And that's just one of the few games on a PS2 that
no way in hell, Ravens Nation. There's no way Madden 08's passing is better than Madden 04. You tripping.
Hold on, which Madden 08 he's talking about?
It doesn't even matter. Either one. They don't top Madden 04. Madden 04 is up there, is better than any other Madden, for sure. And then it's just a question of if it's better than APF 2K.
I mean, it's just one of the reasons why, the PlayStation 2 is still revered with, it's 20 years old now. And we still talk about games like this, not only just Madden. We're talking about like a Gran Turismo 4. Some people still think that's the best one. You still talk about like the God of Wars. I mean, that has been remastered on PS3. And like I said, it just goes on and on. It's like Madden, that this console was good because the game came out. I'm not saying the game. The console came out in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
The console came out. The last Madden came out was Madden 12. There was a Madden 12 for PS2 out, and it's like it's just amazing. Ravens Nation said that Madden 08, he said he always had the QB vision on Madden 08. Yeah, your perspective is going to be real different, especially if you know how to master that QB vision. I get it. But when you're talking about pass trajectory, control.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about passing overall. We can't just say based on a mechanic. Like, we're talking about passing overall, yo.
And to flip that, he's also said they need to add that feature back as an option. Madden will never put that feature back in. It was too controversial and too many casuals didn't like it because they didn't know how to use it. I have trouble using it to this day. I mean, I know how to use it, but there's times I know I will have trouble using it. But I'm with you.
They had the option to turn it off. I don't know why they ever took it out.
No, well, they did because not only the gamers were complaining, you had some quarterbacks in the NFL was complaining. Talking about my vision is not that bad. Meanwhile,
turn your rating up then.
No, I'm saying meanwhile, you're throwing 20 interceptions a year and you're talking about your rating's not that bad. But
bombs.
But I mean, it was just too controversial. Too many people was complaining, so they never put it back in. That's why it's not even in as an option because they think it's a killer. They think it will kill off their game. But it's just the same because I agree on more options the better. So I don't know. It's just weird how, what do you have any favorite PS2 games?
Oh yeah. I mean, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was
a good one.
I got so much playtime out of that. Madden 04 obviously. NBA 2K3 wasn't the best game, but when I look back at it, it got so much playtime out of me because the presentation was really immersive. NBA Live 04 I played even more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of some more. Madden 05 got a lot of playtime too.
Madden 05 was really
NCAA
good.
06. NCAA 06 for sure.
NCAA 06 is probably one of the best college football games ever created.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it might be the best. You got NCAA 12, NCAA 12, NCAA 14, and I would say NCAA 06 is like right there.
I am a big fan of NCAA 08, but I mean I'm not knocking saying it's not better than 6, but 08
Right.
is very good as well. So I mean I'm just a big fan of the 08 series in general. That's why I still play it.
I mean I could put NFL 2K5 up there.
And I like 2K5 for the PS2. It's just something about the Xbox version just makes it tons
Xbox
better.
360 blows it away from me.
Yeah, if you put NFL 2K5 on a 360,
oh yeah,
you got the best version easily.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the game is running at 1080p, it's upscaled to 1080p. It looks very crisp, it looks clean. And I mean the gameplay is still good to this day. When it comes from me, I've always been a big fighting fan. So, like I said, Tekken 5 was my game on the PS2. Also, Capcom vs. SNK 2, even though I like the Dreamcast version better.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the God of War series. Also, I started playing Dragon Quest 8 recently, so I'm not going to say that. For PlayStation 2, I think that's pretty much it. That's really the standout games. You know, all the other ones was just, you know, obviously, you know, Madden 08, because I played the Madden games on the PS2, but the 2K games were on the Xbox. Because I always felt like the Sega Sports titles was supposed to be on Xbox because the Dreamcast it's basically, you know, the son of the original Xbox.
Yo, you know what? I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this.
Oh, and before you say that, obviously the Grand Theft Auto series, all 3
GTA,
games
for sure,
definitely on PS2.
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but that fucking Snoop Dogg game got so much playtime for me. My friend let me borrow it because his parents used to let him buy them games. They used to buy the games for him. I never was allowed to, or I should say, my parents never bought them. So when he let me borrow that game, I played the fuck out of that True Crimes or whatever the hell it was called.
True Crimes was good. Yeah, True Crimes was good.
So yeah, that has to go on the list too.
NFL, 2K football now said something very interesting. He said ESPN 2K4 took up a lot of his time.
I didn't play that until a couple years ago.
A lot of people say that 2K4 is actually better than 2K5. But it has some elements in it that are better than 2K5.
I would say
I'm not saying that they're wrong because I played it. It's a very good game, but I still can't put it above 2K5.
There's 2 issues with 2K4 for me. The first is the fact that there's no foot planning with the running backs at all.
All right.
Like there's no foot planning. Like in 2K5, they added some animations for like cutbacks and things like that. There still was a lot of just turntable running, but there were times when the animations would trigger. Right. The other issue was if you put the game on slow, the passes are way too floaty. There's no way to bullet a pass in that game.
I do like the fact when a running back is running and they ran up behind their lineman, they will try to push the lineman out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
I did like that in 2K4. They took that out of 2K5.
They had a lot of good elements, but it's just those floaty-ass passes.
Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, ESPN 2K football never really got the passing game completely right until 2K5 when maximum passing was really done the best way possible.
Yeah, because 2K4, man, it's like there was no way to bullet a pass. They would just float forever in the air, man.
Yeah, I mean, they never really got that. They never really got that down till even on the Dreamcast, they had some floaty passes. Ravens Nation asked, y'all remember State of Emergency? Yeah, State of Emergency by Rockstar. I remember that game. That was a game that was actually fun to play. Small little riot game.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's right. We'll never have another game like that again. No, it was way too controversial. I agree. Ravens, they say he don't care, but Scarface is better than True Crime. Oh, True Crime was good, but a lot of people don't realize how good that Scarface was. Scarface was really good on the original Xbox. That was one of the few games that, well, if you watch the movie Scarface, it basically picks up where the end of the movie leaves off. But that game was in 720p, legit 720p on the original Xbox. So I don't even play it on the PS2.
So two things I see in the comment section. One, I didn't like Bully. Two, MVP Baseball 05 was a shit. I fucked with MVP Baseball
05. He said, do you guys play triple play MVP Baseball? I played 05. 05 is real good. I still have it to this day.
That's the one with Pujols, right?
Yeah, that's another game that plays at 720p on original. And I know this is about a PS2. I know it is. But I'm a big original Xbox game original Xbox fan because of stuff like this. Back in 2004, they were pushing 720p games, which is like unreal when you think about it. Like there wasn't really even 720p TVs in people's houses back then.
Wait a minute. Wasn't there there was at least 2 MLB The Shows on PS2, right?
Yeah.
Those two.
Yeah,
those
but
were dope.
They started late. I think MLB 10. I think they started in 09.
Yeah, I think 09 was dope as hell.
Yeah, because I gotta look that up because I can't remember. Because there was on the 989.
David Ortiz on the cover, I think, and then
there was
Ryan Howard, I believe.
There was on the 989 Sports prior to them turning to the show, I think. Let me see. I'm looking it up right now so I can find out. Let's see. Yeah, they changed to MLB The Show 06 was the first one. And it was MLB 06 The Show. Yeah, David Ortiz was on the cover. It started out on PS2 and PlayStation Portable on the PSP. And from there on, from 07 on, then it was on PS3. But it was on PS2 up until MLB 11.
Yeah.
So I mean, that just goes to show you how well the PS2 was just it was supported. I mean, I think the last game was like FIFA 14 was like the last game on PS2. FIFA 14. You know what I'm saying? Was the last game.
Basically, you're on to the Xbox One and PS4 at that point.
Yeah, you're basically on the Xbox One and the PS4 at that time. FIFA 14 came out for, let me look that up. It came out for PS3, PS2, and it actually came out for the Xbox One and the PS4. That's amazing for a con. And you wonder why.
Oh shit! Wait, before you keep going, All-Star Baseball 04.
That's another good one. All-Star Baseball 04 was good on there. I'm trying to think. And even the 2K series was good.
2K5 was a masterpiece.
2K5 baseball was just as good as MVP 05. I mean, it was almost like splitting hairs. I mean, you talk about it. Let me tell you something. You think the ESPN presentation is good on NFL 2K5, and I'm not saying it's bad. Go look at MLB 2K5. I swear,
it was a carbon copy to Sunday Night Baseball.
It was a carbon copy. Like you see where NFL 2K5 has the Sports Center thing down pat. That's fine. But in game, NFL 2K5 was not that well ESPN-like.
They didn't have the commentators either. Like 2K5 had the commentators.
Exactly. They didn't have the commentators. They had the halftime show. They had the halftime show. That is true. But it was nothing like MLB. MLB 2K5 had the actual ESPN commentators.
Yeah, it was on a different level.
It was just like Sunday Night Baseball. Yo, they even had the trivia in between innings, like they had on MLB, like they had on real TV.
It was crazy.
So they did it the best out of all of them, to be honest with you.
And man, that game had some animations that were so ahead of its time.
Oh man,
the diving catches, the robbing, the home runs,
the web gems,
the web gems.
They had all that. Yo,
so immersive, man.
The mechanics of that game is so good, and just y'all guys, whenever you get a chance, just go on YouTube and look up MLB 2K5. You will be amazed how well the ESPN presentation. People talk about NBA Live recently, how their ESPN presentation is, and don't get me wrong, it's really good. I think it's good. NFL 2K5 is still revered as one of the best. NCAA 14 does good with the ESPN presentation. I still think MLB 2K5 may be one of the best.
Yeah.
If not the best MLB ESPN presentation. I'm serious.
I would say as far as having the official license for a network, I would say it would be the best.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a Sunday night baseball game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a literal carbon copy. It was amazing how they did it. I'm trying to think what else.
And that just brings up something that's just really bugs me about NBA Live on the 360. Remember, they had the ESPN radio bullshit on there, but they never integrated ESPN.
It just wasn't the same, man.
As far as the telecast, they never integrated it. They would have the radio show and all that bullshit they would play while you were shooting around, especially on NBA Live 07, which is one of the worst basketball games ever made.
One thing I did like about the updates they did, if you was connected to the internet, you got real-time Sports Center updates on the game.
That's what I'm saying. So that was dope. But then it's like once you got into the game,
it was over.
It was still like a fake TNT, you know.
Right.
They tried to blend it and it just didn't work. You never got an ESPN feel for anything past the live updates they gave you. And I felt like they could have did so much more with it.
I'm going to go back to a couple of the comments. Metalface said he still has his Scarface game on Xbox. Very good game. Spec Pooh said Max fucking Payne. I agree. Max Payne, I think that was I don't think it was exclusive. He asked, was it exclusive? Where he said? Yeah, it was on PS2. No, it was on PS2. It was not exclusive. Everybody loves MVP 05. I like MVP 06 as well and 07, but those games were college games. That content for another day.
Yeah, I never played the college baseball for EA. How was that?
They're really. I mean, if you like MVP 05, you're gonna like those. The only difference is when they hit the ball, you hear that metal bat ping. That's it.
Wow, that's kind of dope though.
And I like 07. 07 is the best because they had Georgia Southern on it. So
I wonder why they never made a Little League game.
You know what?
Little League baseball is still like huge. It's like
that's what I'm about to say. As popular Little League World Series is, I'm surprised that. Wait a minute. I think somebody, but it might be a bullshit one, like one for the Wii.
That's what I'm saying. It was never a major company. Never really did one. It's kind of weird.
Let me see. Little League World Series video game. I'm gonna look this up.
The only ones I've seen.
It was one. It was,
it's for
the Wii. I knew it.
For the Wii.
I knew it was for the Wii.
It's crazy.
I might buy that just for the hell of it. I mean, it's probably like 99 cents.
Wait, apparently there's one that came out in 2010 for Xbox 360.
Really? Yeah, it is. I see that. Yo, we might need to get that and talk about that on the podcast one day.
They got NCAA 13 in the recommended section.
Oh yeah. Let's look at some more of these comments. I didn't get into the show until PS3 as well, Doug Thomas. When it came to baseball games, around the PS2 era, I played the 2K series because Kush Games was amazing.
Another PS2 game. NHL 04.
NHL 04 and NHL 04 probably the best one. 06 was good too, but I think 04 was the best one, hands down, easily.
Yeah, NHL 4.
Just saying, like, EA Sports was boss back then.
They were killing it.
Don't get me wrong. 2K had 2K5 and they held it down for them. MLB held it down. NHL did his thing too. But when it came to like EA, this was EA Sports when EA Sports was nothing like what you see now.
FIFA was dope.
Everything was FIFA was dope. The NASCAR games was dope.
Oh shit! Don't get me started on NASCAR games.
I mean, it's like EA Fight Night, even Fight Night round what?
I keep forgetting about those
Fight
two.
Night round 2. That was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, and Ravens. I'm gonna look at a couple more of these. I'm gonna get to that one you just said. Ravens Nation. Ravens Nation said that the servers on Midnight Club are still on for the PS2. That's hard for me to believe, but I wouldn't be surprised. Metalface says he loves gaming discussions like this. Salute to you guys in the chat as well. Hey man, we really appreciate it. Started off slow, but it's really live in here, so we really do appreciate it. Thank you guys very, very much.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers need to show up on time. Nah, but yeah, Tiger Woods series is another good one.
Tiger Woods, let me tell you something. Tiger Woods 07 was really 05 was really good for the PS2 and Xbox.
It was hard to dislike those games, even if you didn't like golf.
The thing about
they were so good.
EA, like I said earlier, this is when EA Sports was like really in its bag. EA,
They were innovative, man. All those innovative courses that they had in mini games.
Man,
You could play basically the golf version of horse. Yeah, man.
I'm telling you, so NHL. I'm not NHL, but Tiger Woods 06 was another good. EA Sports, and I mean, like this is a sports gaming podcast. I know I tried to branch this out to just the PS2 in general, but we talk about sports and sports gaming, so it's par for the course. EA Sports that's what the EA Sports we thought we was going to see forever.
Yep.
When the PS2 original Xbox, hell, even with the GameCube, because GameCube got some love too. And to be honest with you, the GameCube graphics were probably like the best on some of these EA Sports titles. Even though the Xbox, I mean, 480p, which is my favorite resolution, 480p is a big thing. Now you got 2160p and 4K and all that. I still love my low 480p. I love because back then, man, those games looked and felt like video games. Now it's photorealistic stuff, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing because look, when Last of Us come out and the next Uncharted or Horizon Zero Dawn, when it came, I played those games because I love video games. It's just back then. It just felt like games back then.
I'm gonna be honest though, and we talked about this, and this isn't really PS2 related at all, but you talked about the photorealism factor. It's crazy to me that the only game that I've played this generation, or there are two games. The only two games I've really felt immersed in that were photorealistic were NBA 2K14,
right,
and this year's PES. The rest of them have some type of way that just kind of takes you out of it. Either there's some bullshit gameplay that happens, but 2K14 was damn good. They didn't have any of the suction problems. The game was really good, and obviously PES 20 is amazing. But like you talk about the photorealism, it's just like there's always some bullshit to come with it.
Yeah,
whether it's the lack of depth or
like back then, just go back and look at any of my streams when I did NCAA 08 and just look at it. Like the games don't look bad, but then again, it just felt like a game. Yeah, and I'm not knocking any of these new games out now because. Like I said, I love playing Gran Turismo Sport. That game looks fucking beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's just something about that little half-ass grit, that half-ass blurry graphics about Gran Turismo 4, even though it's in 1080i. It's just something about that blurry part of the graphics just make me feel like, you know what? I'm playing a video game and it's okay. So,
Pooh, if it ain't Crysis 3, fuck it. Sorry. Not sorry. If it ain't Crysis 3, I don't want to hear about it.
Let's see.
Crysis 3 was a shit. Let me go on a rant about Crysis 3 real quick.
Hold on real quick. I want to hit a couple of these other ones because Crysis. I ain't got a problem with Crysis 3, to be honest with you. Ravens, they said the NHL game has so many game modes on PS2. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You can play on the outside ice and all that other good stuff. Pool Metro Prime is on the GameCube. Yeah. Okay. Doug Thomas, like, really bring back SOCOM. Like it's easy. I mean, that goes without saying. SOCOM was amazing on PS2. I had the little headset and the broadband adapter. I wasn't that good at it, but I played it. Now, what you about to say about Crysis 3?
So, Ravens Nation asked, what do I got against Crysis 2? I have nothing against Crysis 2. I just don't care about Crysis 2 because Crysis 3 is the greatest of all time. Let me tell you something. I picked up Crysis 3, I would say fairly late into probably the first year it was out. And that game was fucking amazing. The maps were amazing. It was interesting to just traverse the area and all of those maps. Like, that game was so dope, dude. Like Crysis 3 is one of my favorite shooters ever. The weapons were amazing. The cloaking was what it was. It wasn't OP. Like, if you cloaked and you got shot, then you would be revealed. But it was just one of those games that was so dope, bro. Like, Crysis 3 was so dope, man.
I'm planning on going back to play that game on PC because they say the game looks really, really good on PC, even though it looks good on consoles as well.
I'm mad people stopped playing it, bro. Like, that game was so good. I think it was too hard for some people.
I don't know why people stopped playing it, but
I think it was too hard for some people. I think that's honestly what it was. It was too hard for them.
That Crytek engine made the game look absolutely gorgeous,
bro. Man,
you know,
they had this one map with the rain. It was kind of like a army base, kind of, bro. Nah, that game. I need to go back and watch some gameplay. Like, it's probably just gonna piss me off because I really wish I could still play that game. Nobody plays it though.
Yeah, I still got it. I got it on PC, and they said the game looks that good, so I'm gonna go back and look into it. Ravens Nation say they should not touch SOCOM. The developers will ruin it. What is it? I can't remember the name. The last name start with interact something interactive. The same people who did Mag, like who put in the chat Mag, they're debunked. They're no longer around. You may not get like a true SOCOM game, but I think we do need to get something of that nature of that type of game again, because we kind of missed that type of game. Anything else you got on the PS2?
Nah.
I know we're supposed to do XFL picks, but I'm low-key not interested. I might just.
I'm not either. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just kind of want to watch the games and.
DJ sent me the picks. I mean, I need to do them anyway because I need to do them, but I'm just not interested right now. All right, with the coronavirus going on now, Italy is actually putting something together to not have fans at their games, and they're going to be playing the games they're going to be playing the games that they have in an empty stadium. So I'm going to put this up so you guys can see this. If I can find it, empty stadiums. There we go. Let's see. I need to pull this up so you guys can see it. Here we go, right here. Let me share the screen so you guys can see this. All right, it says like here, coronavirus, all Italian sport, including England's Six Nation games, empty stadiums. Now, mind you, this is what soccer or rugby. Yeah, this is soccer because I'm not big on soccer, but I just find this interesting. It says Italy is the worst hit European country with some 3,090 cases. This is amazing. Like we said in the beginning, how 3,000 people get infected like this, it's because of poor hygiene. I don't care what nobody says. I'm not even going that rant again. Just wash your damn hands. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wash your hands and wash your ass.
That too. But nevertheless, they had over 107 deaths, that's terrible. But they said that the government made the decree on Wednesday evening. They saying that all sports in Italy will be played behind closed doors until the 3rd of April in an effort to contain the coronavirus. So these guys are talking about not having they're not going to have they're going to have games without fans. The NCAA is talking about doing the same thing. Bills, what are your thoughts about? Well, the NCAA is talking about doing the same thing when it comes to the March Madness. Bills, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is a safe move, precautionary? Do you think they're overreacting, or do you think this whole thing is stupid and people just need to wash their ass?
I think people. I mean, overseas, it's much different. We talked about the culture, so I get it. Here, no, there's no way you can have a Final Four game played with no fucking fans in the arena. That's insane. It's like, come on. I mean, can we imagine a Super Bowl with no fans?
Right. Or just not even the Super Bowl, just any game.
That's what I'm saying. We've seen the Baltimore Orioles have one. That was kind of interesting.
Well, yeah, Georgia State football is the same way. So, but we're not going to talk about them kittens.
But it's weird. It's weird.
Just imagine you're trying to play a game like, even if you play a video game, like when you play practice mode and you're just shooting around and shit just feel hollow as shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just imagine a full game going on like that.
Because the thing is, it's like, so much of how athletes play, they feed off the crowd. But when there's no crowd there, it's kind of just like a scrimmage. Except those games actually would fucking matter.
Right.
Big time.
But just imagine looking at it on TV if it was televised.
Would be weird.
It's televised and nobody.
I remember The Rock and Mankind had an empty. You remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember that. Could you imagine how it'd be like? You can hear the basketball literally hit the floor when they dribble.
You can hear all the communication between the players, calling out coverages, and oh man,
right. And all the squeaking on the floor from the sneakers.
You know what? That might be kind of dope.
The squeaking of the floor, yes, but other than that, no.
Yeah, it'd be kind of dry. Because then do the commentators come?
Could you imagine like they're just sitting there?
There's no commentators. Oh god,
commentators, the refs, and the players. Like nobody.
Imagine if there's no refs. The players just call their own calls.
Right. and you'll have like the dumbass looking the camera people just running around, and it'll just look so terrible.
Nah, it'd be funny, right? They don't even have cameramen. They have the one set camera way up in the bleachers.
Right.
Just running.
Yeah, because they probably think that the cameraman has coronavirus.
Yeah. You just got the motherfucker that shoots the commercial back to that same wide ass view.
Yeah, we need that one. We need that one cameraman that's not sick to come show up. We don't need all.
Oh my god.
The NBA has also tried to implement this, saying that they don't want their players high-fiving fans, or
I heard that.
They have to sign an autograph. Don't take the pen or don't sign autographs until further notice. It's like really weird. Like I get it, but I kind of think they're overreacting over here anyway. Over there in Italy, Italy's probably about the size of California, and they, and they know that they have a problem with hygiene over there. This, like I said, this is the reason why 3,000 people have these cases like that. And Italy just got the disease like 2.5 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. In 2 weeks, they got 3,000 people infected. It's because people not washing their hands. They're like picking their nose and just rubbing countertops or whatever.
Nasty motherfuckers.
I'm just, and it's not knocking them. It's just the way their culture is. Like you said earlier, we talked about it earlier. Their culture is just different. In some countries, and I'm not saying that we're better than them or their country is beneath us or they're different. Some countries don't believe in wearing deodorant. They don't believe in. I'm dead serious. They don't believe in like really buying soap like that. And I mean, some countries don't even have like real running water or hot water. I mean, that's just how they live. And I'm not saying it's good or bad because who am I to judge? But that's just how they. Why do you think China has been so bad with their numbers? Over 90,000 people infected. They eat like raw octopus over there. The sanitation of food is not good. We have this government here in the United States, and I'm not even going on a tangent about the government. But one thing I can say about the government here, they actually regulate how clean food should be if you're selling it to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what DHEC is for. OSHA and those
USDA.
USDA. That's what they're for. Like people take stuff like this for granted because other countries don't have those type of things. And when you tell people that they don't, people are like, what? People don't wash their hands normally over there? What? Some countries don't wear deodorant? No, they don't. And if you think I'm lying, you can Google it. I'm not saying it to be funny or trying to make fun of them. That's just the way they live. Yeah, that's the way they operate. So when stuff like this happens, you see where a bunch of numbers just skyrocket. You know, it's gross, but in our eyes, but that's just the way they live. So,
shit, give me a wrestling event with no fans in there, bro. I'm tired of these dumbass fans.
Well, I mean, some of them are just they don't, and that's another thing. They just probably don't practice poor hygiene just because they're lazy.
Because they're weirdos and they live in their parents' basement.
And this is another thing. That's why I put a big emphasis on washing your hands and washing your ass. There are some people, and everybody in this chat, they know They know this person, and I'm not trying to point nobody out. Maybe people in the chat or me and Bills, we're probably guilty of this shit. I'm not saying it to be funny. How many times we went to the bathroom and we half-ass washed our hands because we're in a rush?
Nah, bro. Because yesterday,
I'm not even gonna be funny. I'm not saying that I don't go in there and don't wash my hands. I mean I do that, but there's times when I've actually half-ass washed my hands because I'm on the go.
You know what annoys me?
And I'm not saying. I mean, people can say what they want. They can say I'm nasty or whatever because I half-ass. Some people, you've done it too. I know some people who haven't done it at all. They just walk right out after touching their nasty ass little dick.
You know.
I'm not trying to be funny. It's just, I mean, that's just
the fuck you are after what you just said about.
I'm not being funny, but we've all done it. We've all done it to some point that we just throw our hands under the water and keep it moving because we're late. We got to hurry up and get somewhere.
I'll tell you what annoys me though. I'll tell you what annoys me. So I went out last night to this Chinese food restaurant. So if I die, y'all hold it down for me. But anyway, I went to this Chinese food restaurant last night, right? So you go in, there's a fucking door, which already annoys me because I'm like, I'm gonna wash my hands and I have to open this fucking door.
Right.
But there's a door. So I wash my hands and then there's the air dryer. These motherfuckers ain't have no paper towels. So you dry your hands after you just washed them, and then you got to open the fucking door with your hands that you just washed. That's counterproductive.
Right.
You don't got no fucking paper towels in your bathroom?
The same thing I was talking about. These guys who wash their or females or whatever, they use the bathroom and don't wash their hands. What do? They're touching the goddamn handle.
Bro, so but that's what I'm saying. It's like
to wash your hands is like not even it's null and void.
The easiest way to alleviate a good part of this shit is don't have any fucking doors for your bathroom if it's a public bathroom.
Right.
That's the first part. If you're gonna have doors, have some paper towels. At least I can open the door with paper towel and throw it away and then walk out.
Right.
But you're gonna have an air dryer. Oh, it's healthy. And of course, there's scientists that say that that's just not healthy either. That there's bacteria that's going in, and then when it turns on, then it shoots back out of your hands and all this shit. Like, I
mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, in what Ravens Nation said, he said he's going to a Chinese spot later this week. I'm not telling nobody not to go to these places. To be honest with you, live your life, play your video games. And if you're at a friend's house, you might want to use sand sanitizer when you play video games or whatever.
Sand sanitizer?
Yeah, sand sanitizer. That's what I said.
That's what we're going with.
That's what we're going with.
Sand sanitizer. Sand hand. I'm putting that shit on the shirt.
Yep.
So sand sanitizer.
Exactly. Wear that. And, just live your life. But on the flip side, really take care of yourself. This coronavirus is somewhat spreading.
You fucking up tonight.
I know. I'm trying to eat at the same time. I'm sorry. It's actually spreading to some places where we don't know where it's going to go. I don't think it's going to get that bad to like people like going to fall out and die like in China or whatever. I think you're going to have a strong case of the flu if you get it. People that are under the age of 40 or under the age of 50, they're not dying. Kids are not even getting it. But the main thing is just be clean. Honestly, just same thing like with Ravens Nation. I ain't gonna say forget the hand sanitizer. I'm not saying forget it, but hot soap and water. Hot water and soap. I mean, I'm all backwards.
Man, you fucking up, man.
I am. Hot water and soap is really a big deal. But I'm still sticking with the sand sanitizer. I'm still sticking with it. I like that.
That's just gonna fuck me up the next time I say it. Now I'm be saying sand sanitizer.
I'm sticking with that.
Oh my god.
But like I said, really wash hands, be clean. You know what I mean? I can't say enough because, like I said, we don't know where this stuff is going. And you see now the NCAA is talking about, not having people come to their games. It may be an empty stadium. I mean, that's some scary stuff. That's a disruption of life. You can't go to a sports event or you can't go other places where it's a group of people. You know what I'm saying? You can't go, you just can't go certain places, And so you don't want to be that person that, to get sick like this. So, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Like I said, more importantly, man, cover your fucking mouth when you sneeze and cough and all that shit. Because half the time when you get sick, it's from a motherfucker on the bus or on the train. I don't take public transportation anymore because I drive. I haven't taken public transportation in years. But even walking down the street, motherfuckers sneezing, coughing, they won't cover their fucking mouth. That shit's nasty. Talking 2 inches from your fucking face. Like, bro, respect people's personal space. Wash your hands, wash your ass, cover your mouth when you sneeze and shit. I mean, fuck, bro. Like, that shit's nasty to me. Like, that's a pet peeve. Don't talk too close to people and cover your fucking mouth when you sneeze or cough. Even clear your throat, bro. Like, that's an easy way to transfer fucking germs.
It really is. It really and there's been another study before I get off of this topic. There's been a study that said a lot of people that are younger, like around our age or like 50 or younger, we probably already had it because they've been doing, the United States finally got a chance to study it. And some of the people in these labs are saying that some people probably already had it and got rid of it because it's not that big of a deal to have it. The scare is the fact that you have these other countries that is making it spread so fast, and you have elderly people that are dying. The people that are dying are over the age of 60. You don't really find people that are underage like that. Really, I mean, it's very, very rare. But I mean, that's in the, it's a lot of people that are older. So they're saying that some people probably already had it and got rid of it, basically just using over-the-counter medicine. So it's somewhat actually a fairly common virus. It's just that it doesn't really attack people that are younger. But that doesn't mean don't wash your fucking hands. Still wash it. Still be clean. But I don't want people to just panic to like you get to the point where you can't go outside because there's no sporting events you can go to. Live your life, but just don't be gross. Don't be nasty, like Bill said. Don't be disgusting.
And for them motherfuckers to say, "Oh, that's their way of life and that's their choice to not wash their ass and wash their hands," nah, you're affecting other people. Stay your ass inside.
Listen, I said this last week. If you're coughing and sneezing around me, you roll up on me, you're getting an elbow to the throat. I'm not lying. And you get. Yeah, you can go in and press charges. I'm like, look, you look like you're a danger to society with that corona shit. So I'm defending myself. So you start that sneezing and want to roll up on me talking about, hey, aren't you VF? No, I'm going to whoop your ass. Now, I'm not playing that. I'm dead ass serious about that. You know what I mean? But I don't have anything else. Anything else you want to
add? Not to that topic, nah.
Anything else you want to talk about before we go? Want to ad-lib anything? I mean, because I'm literally out of time. I mean, I could talk about Final Fantasy Remake. I don't want to talk about that because it's a demo. I don't want to talk about a demo. I'm waiting for the real game.
I want to ad-lib the fact that I think LeBron is the MVP of the league this year.
Oh yeah, he's having a very good season.
Be honest, you could say Milwaukee's out in front, but what LeBron is doing for that team in the Western Conference, with so many new players on that team, for them to have the number one record is crazy.
I think there's a nod for Antetokounmpo. I think it's a nod for him. I'm not saying he's out of the discussion, but I think this is probably going to be LeBron's year. And my thing is, I'm like, you guys need to stop it with this LeBron hate. I mean, Bill's no up and down. I'm a Jordan guy. I've been down with Jordan since '91, but I don't even try to compare the two. There's two different eras. There's two different players, and they play very, very different. Right. It is what it is. Let greatness be great. Have y'all learned anything from Kobe Bryant? And I didn't even want to bring that up like that, but I mean, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? I haven't learned anything.
I mean, the moment I learned he passed, I'm like, whoa, there's no more debating for me with this Kobe and LeBron shit. That shit's so insignificant at this point.
Right. It puts things in perspective that it's not as it doesn't. It really never did hold weight, but it really don't hold weight at this point because I mean, one of the greats are not here anymore, and they left this earth way too early.
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Like, it's cool to have the conversation, but to get in these heated debates is ridiculous, man.
It's cool to have the conversation about the players.
Yeah.
But the debate and be heated at somebody, oh, you're a LeBron stan.
Yeah.
Right. Jordan played with plumbers. I'm like, stop.
Like, I've come to learn that the way we are fans of basketball is a lost art in a way. The way we're fans of sports in general, where you're more a fan of a sport than you are of a player, that doesn't exist anymore.
In the 90s, in the early 2000s, this whole debate thing wasn't even a thing. Everybody got love in the NBA.
Yeah.
Everybody got, even in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, everybody got love for being where they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. If I had a knock on LeBron, I didn't like the fact that he did the whole thing with the decision, but that has nothing to do with his basketball skills. Like, that's just basic communication.
And that's the issue these days, though. It's like, with all this information so easily accessible, it's another reason why these debates come about. There's so many stats and
it's too much information.
Yeah, it's information overload to the point where people just micro or psychoanalyze everything, and they don't really sit and appreciate what they're watching.
I mean, you want to know something? You want to know something? And I want to leave this up for another topic down the road. I think the NBA is suffering because of too much information. You got all these dumbass debate shows. You got all these dumbass analytic shows. You got all these around the horns and get ups and you got so much of that stuff. I think people just tune out and not want to watch the NBA, and that's one of the reasons nobody talks about to why that the ratings are down. Because some people be like, fuck it, I'm not going to watch the game. I'll just listen to these guys fuss and moan about it in the morning.
Ravens Nation, that's not true, bro. Yeah, there's always been stats in some form, but come on, back when Bill Russell played, they didn't even keep track of blocks. It's a different time now, bro.
It's not even that, Bills. It's just the fact that the stats were there, and we looked at them at our own leisure. They weren't thrown in our face all the time.
Well, not only did we look at them in our own leisure, but we viewed them differently as a whole.
Exactly.
How we weighted them.
But you know why? Because we looked at them at our own leisure. You kind of saying? When we went to go see, like, okay, let's check out Gary Payton's steals, and we saw like, oh damn, he averaged 2.5 steals a game. That's fucking amazing. And we kept it at that. It was like, and we'll talk amongst each other, like, yeah, man, Gary Payton, he's the glove because of this, and this. Then you turn around to John Stockton, oh, he's the assist guy because of this, and this. And you saw like Magic Johnson, oh, he can do it all on the court. And like I said, everybody got love when we looked at the stats at our own leisure. Now you see oh, Gary Payton has all these steals. Well, how that compare against such and such? Now we're programmed to like go at each other because of what we see on TV.
Well, Ravens Nation said guys now look at stats instead of actually watching the game. I'll be completely honest.
He's right. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'll be honest, I agree. Back then, all you had was to watch the game. That's what it was. But motherfuckers watch the game back then and still don't understand sports as well as people today. And so that
goes to the stupidity of the play.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like the viewers back then could be equally as dumb as they are now. It's just the fact that, you have to look at the information for what it is and choose how to weight it, or I should say weigh it when you're comparing players, and you have to know when to compare players and when not to. And I think that's the issue.
The problem is, though, I get it, Bills, but he's not wrong. You know why he's not wrong? Because we understand that we are students of just sports.
Right.
But people who watch it casually, you know what they do? They look at the stats, they wait for such and such person on TV say something, and instead of them processing the stats, they just regurgitate what they hear. So that's why people rather look at the stats, and all of a sudden they're, Stephen A. all of a sudden, and they go on Twitter and do this and they do that. And even some of these commentators are victims of this. Look at Colin Cowherd. He admitted that he don't watch games anymore. But all because of runoff stats.
But the other issue that I see is that I feel like there are less casual sports fans these days than there were back then. Because if you look back then and you ask motherfuckers like, oh, well, do you watch sports? Not really. Well, who do you think is the best basketball player in the world? Oh, well, it has to be Michael Jordan. Why? Well, because this person said it. Back then, it was way worse. They took one name and said, well, that guy has to be the best because that's the name I'm hearing all the time. These days, people are smart enough to look and say, oh, no, that might have been bullshit.
I also got to understand back then, there was no GOAT talk back then because, like I said earlier, everybody had love from everywhere. Like the Sean Kemps of the world, the Seattle Supersonics was here. The Utah Jazz was there. The New York Knicks was here. The Bulls.
Yeah, but Jordan was the guy, bro.
Even though
they made him out to be this god on a basketball court compared to everybody else.
You're right, though. But it wasn't nowhere near as extreme as it is now. We know who Jordan was, but then again, everybody else got love. Now, and I'm not saying that it's you. I know it's not you, but when you look at everybody else, it's like they look at LeBron and they rarely look at anybody else. Or they'll look at a KD, or they looked at the Warriors, the team that they had, and nobody else got love. Like, people don't realize, like, this season alone, a lot of people don't even realize how good the Miami Heat actually are. It's a pretty damn good team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The 76ers, they're up and down, but they're fairly good. You know, it's just that you had like these 3 or 4 teams, maybe 5, right now that just everybody just look at. But they don't necessarily look at like they did back then, where every team got some type of love. Like, we know the Bulls, and, you know, they put Jordan on a pedestal because he was on TV every weekend. But we knew, like, okay, even though they got love, Jordan was the one that they put up there. We knew that we respected these other teams, like the Pacers, the Knicks, the Charlotte Hornets. They got that kind of, like, now those teams don't get that kind of love.
But the issue to me was, I think where this all started was when reporters started to have way more of an impact as far as the perception of sports in general, because you basically were relying on motherfuckers who most of them have never played to dictate the perception of a team or a player.
Well, not only that, you got some of these networks that are pushing a narrative as well. So but
that's what I'm saying. It's the reporters, it's the Stephen A. Smiths, it's the Skip Baylesses, it's the Colin Cowherds that they can now push a narrative and push a player even more than they used to, because of the fact that now they have all these bullshit stats that they kind of make people pay attention to by ramming them down our throats. And, you know, then the casual fan will be just as bad as they were back then, but at least now they have the access to the stats to disprove some shit if they have a person like me or you to say, no, that's bullshit what they're telling you. Back then, you literally just had to accept it. Oh, Jerry Rice is the best player in the league? Okay, fine, I guess he is.
But see, that's the thing. Even though that I mean, it wasn't as prominent as it is now, even though that narrative was out there at times, you still had Chris Carter, you still had Herman Moore, you had Andre Rison, you had Sterling Sharp, you still had these guys who still got that kind of love. Like, right now, we can talk about football, so we can jump to that. Look at how some of these TV shows do right now. Truth be told, if you don't not paying attention, people are going to think the Dallas Cowboys are the best fucking team in the NFL.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's that type of stuff that's the bullshit. It's
so like, Doug Thomas said, stats don't tell the whole truth. Here's the issue, though. The issue is if you don't understand the sport at a very deep level, that's the only story you can listen to is stats. And the problem is a lot of people complain about stats, but they don't understand the sport. So they need stats to even be relevant in the conversation. That's the problem. When we started letting people who don't know shit about sports into the conversation, and they're just people that are crunching numbers, that's really when it became an issue. That's really when stats became an issue. That's how analytics came about.
Yep. Exactly right.
You started letting people in the conversation that have never shot a basketball, never thrown a football, never hit a baseball, that all of a sudden want to say, well, the stats say.
But not only that, some of these people don't even watch the game. They just look at the numbers.
They don't. They look at box scores at the end of the night.
I don't think that you necessarily have to play the game to understand what stats mean. I honestly believe you have to watch the game and put the stats and put them 2 and 2 together to understand. This is where Doug Thomas is saying. He's saying stats don't tell the whole truth. He's exactly right. Because somebody who's playing or shooting the ball at a high a high percentage could look dominant on paper, but when you find out that all the shots are in the paint, then you'd be like, okay, what are we doing here? But if you're just looking at one side, like, okay, this guy's dominant in the paint, but even though he's in the paint all the time, he doesn't shoot that well. But I said, look at his percentage. You have to do both and both. But when somebody with analytics come in to just look at numbers, that's all they see is like, okay, this is what needs to happen.
But that's why I think it's both. It's like it's two-sided because like then you have the people who they always want to say, like, especially me, I'm young. So when I start debating motherfuckers that are your age or older, they start talking about the age thing. Well, you weren't even alive back when Michael Jordan. I don't have to be alive. You were alive and you didn't even understand what the fuck you were watching. So the people who did watch, they didn't understand. So, but they used that like, oh, you weren't living back then. I didn't have to be living. I can watch the games from back then and understand them way better than a lot of other people because I've been around the sport and because I watch the sport and understand it at a bit deeper level than them.
And this comes full circle to, like I was saying, this is a reason why this Jordan versus LeBron thing is stupid because you have to understand how they played and what they played. Anybody can put Jordan stats up against LeBron and say, okay, LeBron's stats are higher because he's done this, this, and this. Jordan, this particular stat of Jordan is higher because of this, this, and this. But when you actually see how they played and when they played, you can tell that their greatness is actually totally opposite of what you're trying to. A person who's trying to debate is actually trying to push. It's totally different.
It's almost like, okay, like I'll give you another example. So here's an example of where stats really do tell a story that folks might not know. Larry Bird averaged 10 rebounds for his career. You would never know that.
Right.
Because they never push that narrative. They always make Larry Bird out to be an overachiever, right? Oh, he couldn't run. He couldn't jump. He couldn't do this. Let's be honest. Larry Bird was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And when you talk about resume, maybe he doesn't have the resume, but if you look at his play and how he controlled the game, you could say he has an argument for the best ever. Obviously, his resume, once you start talking about accolades, he falls a bit short. But the thing is, it's like oh God, and here comes Apex talking about LeBron.
He made a pretty good point, though.
Well, he shouldn't have thrown LeBron's name in there. LeBron makes players and gets them contracts. So let's not even talk about him in the same breath as the other two. But yeah, it's like when you look at guys like that, when you look at the LeBron Jameses and the Michael Jordans and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is like, they're just Magic Johnson. They're on a different level to where stats don't really even quantify. You would have to watch how they impact the game on a nightly basis to even understand how great they really were.
Right.
To the point where crunching stats doesn't do anything. But nowadays it's, okay, well, this guy is averaging 37 points per game. And then when you bring up how many shots, then they want to start using discretion. Well, look at how many threes he took. And it's stupid. When you look at James Harden, you can tell he's not playing winning basketball, period. I don't care whether you're talking about stats or not. You can not know a single stat from the game, watch the game, and tell that he's playing cancerous basketball towards his team.
Chris Thomas says that when we go back and talk about the people who push stats, that they're always talking about Cowboys, Patriots, or Brady if you stay in New England or not. Recently, yes, that's how they've been talking about. But like I said, it's like the narrative is like they're not giving you the whole story of the sport. At the end of the day, they're trying to entertain. Yeah. And I think this is where those debate shows start to fall off because when it was Cold Pizza, I mean, y'all might not even remember that show called Cold Pizza. When Cold Pizza was around, or when First Take was around, but prior to it's not a knock on Stephen A. But when First Take was around before Stephen A was there all the time, when it was just Skip Bayless and people used to come on the show, they actually talked about the totality of not football, but of the sport. Now it's like we need to talk about something to get people to watch, and I think it's just like I said earlier. I think it's a turn off to people why people aren't watching these, like especially basketball. They're not watching it as much as they used to because these shows are kind of turning them off.
So Apex, let me ask you a question because I want to talk about this. He says everybody plays to the rhythm of Harden, Westbrook, and LeBron. Okay, so your favorite player is Clyde Drexler, right? So when Clyde Drexler isolated and 4 players were standing on the other side of the court, what was that team doing? They was playing to the rhythm of Clyde Drexler, right?
I mean, right about now, I mean, all of basketball is kind of built on that right now. Though.
Every star player, their team plays to, other than Steph Curry. Steph Curry might be the only one where their team does not play to his team does not play to the rhythm of him because it's strictly a motion offense. But to sit and tell me that LeBron James, the dude who sets the table for everybody, okay, why don't you put Magic Johnson in that conversation then? Why don't you put Michael Jordan in that conversation when he played point guard for those 2 years?
I'm about to get ready to close it out because I'm not going back and forth with Gideon. I like him, but yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just like right now. I mean, even those two, your superstars. I mean, they always play to the drum of their beat at some time. You know, it's always been that way. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I think now, like when you do have like a Harden or Westbrook, those two in general, it's like they do it by force. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is. I mean, that's just how they do it. Where's that? Oh yeah, Ravens Nation said debate shows suck, include the announcers. Everybody has a stupid script to play. Exactly, and that's one reason why I kind of stopped watching because you could tell like they try to find a. You know, I really knew I knew I was done for sure when they decided to bring LeVar Ball back on one of these shows recently. Like why? Because your ratings are down. We know what time it is.
Oh, of course.
But LeVar Ball has said nothing for you know, and that's a good thing. He said nothing for the past few months, almost a year actually. Can you believe it? It's almost been a year since we haven't really heard from that guy.
Thank God. Should have been longer.
And like all of a sudden he pops up out of nowhere. Ratings are down on these shows for a reason. And we just scratched the surface with this whole, stats and the NBA, and the NBA is even suffering from it because, they can't even get their numbers up on a nightly basis like they used to a few years ago. But nevertheless, that was episode 125 episodes of the First and Framerates.
Nah, Five, you ain't about to do this today, man.
No. I'm
coming in here all late. And
yeah.
You've been absent the past how many weeks?
Yeah, no, months. We gotta go. We've been here an hour and 36 minutes. I'm sorry. Thank you, Fight, for coming through, but
man.
Appreciate everybody who came. Great interaction in the comment section. We talked about PlayStation 2. We got, that was great. Even with the last two topics about the coronavirus and the thing with the NBA and all this other stuff, we really appreciate it. B5, I'm glad to know that you're alive.
Right.
Because we was worried about you for a second. Apex, thanks for coming through. Chris Thomas, as always. Ravens Nation for being interactive. Pooh, you know how we feel about you. Tadal. Actually, what's his name? Metalface Doom was really inactive, very active. Thank you. All you guys, everybody, Tadal 52, everybody who comes in to say something, we really appreciate it. I cannot thank you guys enough. We'll see you guys for episode 126 on Tuesday. We didn't do any XFL stuff. I'm sorry. I'm kind of not necessarily burnt out. I was just uninterested. Sorry, DJ. I know you did your picks. I guess we'll talk about them at a later time. But we are going to watch I'm going to watch the games. I don't know what Bill's going to do. Bills, what you doing this weekend?
Shit. There's something this weekend. There's a UFC event, but I should be free to watch the XFL games probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't caught a full game yet, bro. I wish they put them on demand somewhere so I could.
Right. Chris Thomas, like Undisputed, they have about the XFL, and it's been like 5. Yeah, like nobody there. They talk about it a little bit, but the
ESPN pushes it though.
Yeah, they talk. Like I said, the networks talk about it, but the debate shows that they're scared to touch. They really talk about the Cowboys, which is in the off season, instead of talking about real football that's out right now. That just goes to show you what's going on here.
We got to talk about Tom Brady on Tuesday, though. I want to talk about Tom Brady.
That's fine. I mean, between now and then, the ideas and the topics we churning, we'll touch on it. Like I said, guys, we really appreciate it. We're going to be out. Yeah, the Vipers did get a win. You're right. We'll see you guys then. Anything else you got, Bills?
Nah. B5 asked, "How's your son doing?"
He's walking. He's learning how to cut on and off lights. I built this basketball goal for him for toddlers. He was scared of it at first, and now he likes the fact that I throw the basketball into the goal. He's learning how to do that. I think he was scared of it because it was like slightly above his head. He didn't know if it was going to fall on him or what. But once I showed him how to play with it, he's fine with it. Yeah, like I said, he's walking, and he knows how to climb up and down these steps, and he doesn't care. So I have to watch him. So I don't need him to tumble down. So, but other than that, everything's good. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Definitely. Thanks for the support. iTunes, SoundCloud, B5. You missed this episode, so go back and subscribe and download the episode. Apex, you came late. Download the episode on iTunes or SoundCloud or Google Play. Yes, being a daddy is a true blessing. I was going to make a whole video about it. It's one of the best gifts in the world. It really is. Nevertheless, support us in all these other places. Share the episode. We see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.
Peace.